Full disclosure, this movie was made just outside of my hometown, and I am acquainted with one of the people integral to getting it made, and I do consider them to be a friend. But, never fear, I still plan on giving a completely unbiased opinion because at the end of the day, any and all grievances I may or may not have with this picture, I can lay strategically at the director's feet. Last stop in Yuma County. It is a new Western-style crime thriller starring Jim Cummings, Jocelyn Donahue, and Richard Brake. In the film, two bank robbers hold an eclectic group of individuals hostage inside a diner while they try to plan their escape. It's basically like if someone took the first half of From Dusk Till Dawn, the good half, and turned it into a full-length feature. Give me the good stuff. Let me make it clear, visually speaking, this film is a stunner. For a film that spends 75% of its runtime inside a diner, it never looks mundane in terms of composition and color palette. But the opening shot that takes place as the sun is rising, and more specifically, the ending shots that take place at dusk, they are simply spectacular and manage to make even the desert, a place that I fucking hate because I had to grow up there, actually look beautiful. Last Stop is a cornucopia of A-list indie actors, including Jocelyn Donahue, Alex Esso, Sam Huntington, and Barbara Crampton, to name a few. But for me personally, the absolute standouts are Richard Brake and Jim Cummings. What I love about Brake's performance is really how reserved he is. It's kind of the opposite of the boisterous, loudmouth characters he's known for playing, particularly in Rob Zombie's movies. He only raises his voice once, and it very much commands the audience's attention. Otherwise, he's very soft-spoken and nuanced, which is arguably more terrifying because you don't ever know what's going on behind his steely gaze. And then there's Jim Cummings. Listen, I didn't even realize how much I actually loved this actor until I saw that he was in the trailer for this movie, and it hit me. I was like, hey, that's the guy from the werewolf movie that spends the entire film losing his shit at everybody. He seems to have a knack for playing the most likable, unlikable people, and Last Stop is no exception. It's a little more than halfway through the picture when his character is thrust into a moral dilemma, and it is in the latter half of the talkie that Cummings really gets to take center stage in what is otherwise a very well-crafted ensemble piece. And pardon the hyperbole, but he is absolutely magnetic as fuck. I mean, you cannot take your eyes off him. Low-key a little surprised that he wasn't a cop in this movie because I'm pretty sure that man has it in his contract. Should there be a cop in a movie that he is starring in, he will play said cop. The man plays a lot of cops, ladies and gentlemen. I have no words when it comes to the director of this film. I mean, I am literally speechless. Okay, obviously I can't actually not say anything because the man is fucking incredible. This is Francis Gallupi's directorial debut, and that sheer fact alone is absolutely fucking mind-blowing. I mentioned Rob Zombie before, right? And as a die-hard fan of Rob Zombie's movies, I can honestly say that Francis Gallupi's freshman effort is literally better than any movie Rob Zombie has ever directed. The cast and crew both stated how insanely prepared he was every time he came to set, going as far as doing overhead graphs for blocking and planning out where the cameras were gonna be. It is this ridiculous attention to detail coupled with his razor-sharp script that would undoubtedly make even a young Tarantino envious. I really cannot express how inspiring it is to see a dedicated up-and-coming put all of his chips on the table and turn in not just a good first feature, but a goddamn great first feature. And I am so stoked to see how the rest of the man's career continues to play out. And speaking of dedication, it is no secret that this is a low-budget film, so the people that were involved in making it were clearly not there for a paycheck. They were there because they believed in the script and they believed in the filmmaker. So much so that executive producer James Clays sold his house to finance the picture. He sold his fucking house! If that doesn't inspire you to throw caution to the fucking wind and follow your dreams, I don't know what will. And now it's time to talk about the shit. There is one beat, and only one beat, that I would even consider changing in this movie, and it comes pretty late in the game. Without spoiling too much, one character finds themselves grieving over the death of another character. They're holding them in their arms and weeping, and then they quickly collect themselves and get back to the task at hand. Just given the severity of the death in question, I think that moment of grief could have played out a little longer and a little heavier. But that's it, and even that is picking some very, very, very fine nits, gang, because who am I kidding? This picture is pretty much airtight. Go ahead and give me that rewatch. From the characters to the comedy, this film is actually really funny, to the stakes, Last Stop plays very much like a Coen Brothers movie and is just as rewatchable as any Tarantino flick. And to that end, if I was going to double feature this movie at the Jony Horror Drive-In, I think it would pair perfectly with another bank heist aftermath picture, Reservoir Dogs. Smart, stylish, and clearly crafted with intense care, The Last Stop in Yuma County is one of the best examples of when creativity and dedication meet chance and opportunity. The story of this film getting made is equal parts inspiring and depressing because it does reassure all the hopeless creatives that you can manage to go out there and make the art that you want to make. I don't think any of us are going to be batting 1,000 like Mr. Gallupi, but he does make it clear that achieving your aspirations is possible. And on the other hand, it's depressing because, like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? I have known about and been excited for this movie for years, and it did not disappoint. It is 1000% worth your time, and everyone who participated in the making of this movie deserves some of your goddamn money, you fucks. 10 out of 10 for the Jony Horror score. Well, that's gonna about do it for this episode of the Jony Horror Reviews. I am your host, Jony Horror, encouraging all you bank robbers and knife salesmen to be good to one another, be half-decent human beings, and always remember, losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen.